Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening. After drinking the coffee he had freshly ground and eating the pasta he had prepared, Nicole suddenly felt like she had gone back in time. She understood his determination to keep this place as it was. After leaving the coffee shop, Jared took Nicole back to their manor. "Aren't we going back to the Riddle residence?" Nicole asked as she thought. "Nolan and Lana are still there." "We won't be going back there tonight," Jared said, casting a deep look at Nicole. He held Nicole's delicate hand tightly and led her into the manor. The manor was still the same as when she had first returned. She remembered that she had been forcibly brought back by him. Nicole could not help but smile when she thought of this. "Although I've been here twice, it feels really different this time." After all, the last time she was brought here, she had been taken back forcibly, so she was both worried and scared. Jared glanced at her and gently stroked her hair. "This time you're coming home, so of course it's different." "Right," Nicole replied softly. This time, she was coming home, returning to where they belonged. She took the initiative to hold Jared's large hand and raised her head with a smile. "Our home. Welcome home." Jared gently hugged Nicole. He knew that at that moment, she was the Nicole that he had loved before. Even if she had not fully recovered her memories, she had remembered their past. Nicole raised her hand and lightly tapped Jared's chest. "Thank you for not forgetting me. For not forgetting me, not giving up on me, searching for me, and waiting for me." Jared's gaze was filled with affection as he reached up to gently stroke Nicole's hair, his touch tender. He would never forget. If she could not find her way back, he would keep looking. He went through every room with Nicole and said, "This is our home. Nolan and Lana will grow up happily here, and will live happily here too." This time, they were going to be together forever, never to be separated again. "Yeah." Nicole nodded gently, holding Jared's hand. "That's right. We'd never be separated again." Jared's gaze darkened with lust as he lifted Nicole into his arms and walked toward the bedroom. The next day, in the morning, the first rays of sunlight spilled into the room. Nicole had just woken up when she heard Jared's voice by her ear. "Go back to sleep if you're tired," Jared said, stroking her hair. Nicole's cheeks turned red as she pushed Jared away playfully. "Hurry up and get up. We have to go back. Nolan and Lana will find it strange if they don't see us." Upon saying that, Nicole got out of bed and went to the bathroom. After a simple wash, Jared had already put on his clothes. Seeing him go to wash up, Nicole went to change her clothes too. After leaving the manor and returning to the Riddle residence, the children had already woken up. They looked confused when they saw their parents coming back from outside. "Mommy, where did you and Daddy go?" "We went for a morning exercise," Jared replied calmly, holding Lana as he walked toward the dining room. Nicole's mouth twitched. A morning exercise? She could not believe he came up with that excuse. But she could only go along with Jared and said, "Yes, let's have breakfast first, and then we'll take you to school." As she walked with Nolan toward the dining room, Nicole heard Nolan muttering, "Who dresses up like this for morning exercises? Shouldn't you wear workout clothes?" Nicole's expression became a bit awkward, but she did not want to look weird as she was afraid that Nolan would notice. Even Nolan knew that people would wear activewear for morning exercises. How could Jared just casually use this as an excuse? After everyone had seated themselves in the dining room, breakfast was served. Gloria glanced at Spencer and asked, "Is Lulu okay now?" "She's fine. Fortunately, the situation didn't escalate, and it didn't cause any harm to her," Spencer replied. Then, he looked at Nicole and added, "We should thank you for this. If it weren't for you, Lulu's situation would be difficult to handle." Even though they had clarified the situation, the negative impact of the incident would be challenging to erase once it spread. "Of course I'd help." Not only was Lulu her sister-in-law, but she was also her best friend. As long as Lulu wasn't hurt, that's good. "You should spend more time with her these days," Gloria advised Spencer. "Okay," Spencer agreed with a nod. Even though Lulu was unharmed this time, she had been genuinely scared during the incident. As they chatted, the family finished breakfast and went their separate ways. Nicole and Jared took Nolan and Lana to school. "Bye, Mommy," the two kids said in unison. "Behave, okay?" Nicole lovingly patted the heads of her children. "Bye, Daddy." Lana looked at Jared with a grin and waved her hand. Jared nodded with a smile. "Bye-bye." After that, Jared looked at Nolan, who seemed a bit stunned. Then, Nolan awkwardly averted his gaze. Jared raised his eyebrow subtly before turning to Lana. "I'll pick you up after school." "Sure." Lana replied happily, taking Nolan's hand. "Nolan, let's go inside." Nicole sighed helplessly as she watched them enter their school. "It seems like you really scared Nolan back then. That's why he can't open up to you now." Although she can sense that Nolan's feelings toward Jared had changed, Nolan still cannot fully accept Jared, which was why his expression was still a bit awkward. "Maybe," Jared replied calmly. Although Nolan refused to call him Daddy, he believed that Nolan was already changing. It was just a matter of time before he could overcome his pride. Nicole tilted her head and looked at Jared, furrowing her eyebrows. "Do you really not mind? He'll get better." Jared gently pinched Nicole's hand. "Give him some more time." Upon hearing this, Nicole finally smiled with relief. She just did not want any conflict between them. "Drive," Jared instructed Max. The car started and headed toward Dill Corp. After some time, they arrived, and Nicole got out of the car. She bid farewell to Jared and walked into the company. In her office, Lulu was already waiting for her. "Nicole, there's been progress," Lulu said with excitement. Nicole glanced at Lulu and guessed, "Everett." "Yes, how did you know?" Lulu was surprised, her eyes widening. Nicole shrugged. "I could tell by your expression. It wasn't that hard to guess." Besides, the only thing that could make Lulu this excited was updates on Everett's situation. Lulu cupped her cheeks and murmured, "Is it that obvious?" "Very," Nicole replied with a light laugh. "Oh well, let's not talk about that for now. Take a look at these documents first." Lulu placed several files in front of Nicole. Nicole opened them and saw that they were all cooperation agreements. She smirked and said, "Steve is quite efficient in handling business matters." Steve secured all these contracts so quickly. Even though they weren't the biggest investment projects, they were more than what Dill Corp could ask for. "Yes, we not only got these projects but also the companies that ran into trouble previously. After an internal investigation, it was discovered that they were all framed by Everett. Now, almost all of them have turned against him," Lulu explained. Those companies had cooperated with NarrativeNook, but Everett still sabotaged them from behind, which had thoroughly disheartened them. "He's ruthless," Nicole scoffed disdainfully. Everett was willing to use any means, whether it was revealing existing secrets or fabricating false ones. Did he really believe he would not get caught? "It's a pity that he bit off more than he could chew," Lulu said with a smirk. "Otherwise, they would not have had evidence against him." "What are those companies' plans?" Nicole asked, her eyes slightly narrowing. "They're preparing to terminate their collaboration. As for those who haven't collaborated with NarrativeNook yet, they won't consider partnering with them in the future anymore. Additionally, those who got set up plan to sue them too," Lulu whispered. "Should we add fuel to the fire?" "What do you mean?" Nicole asked, intrigued by Lulu's mischievous grin. "Well, NarrativeNook probably has its own dark secrets, right? Why don't we take advantage of this opportunity to expose them?" With Everett already dealing with internal conflicts, bringing external troubles to him would surely make his life even more difficult. Novel drama. "That's not a bad idea," Nicole said with a slight nod. "Do you have any information?" "Hee, you can get it, can't you?" Lulu chuckled playfully. Nicole playfully rolled her eyes at Lulu. "You've got it all figured out, haven't you?" Lulu scratched her head and laughed awkwardly. "I could arrange for someone to investigate, but it'd definitely be slower than you doing it." Nicole chuckled and shook her head. "I'll take care of this myself." With that, Nicole turned on her computer, entered a string of characters, and switched to a different interface. She figured that she should resolve it herself. Rather than entrusting someone else, Nicole preferred to hack into NarrativeNook's system, which was the simplest and most efficient way. Lulu watched Nicole, whose expression became serious as she typed away on the keyboard. After a while, Nicole looked up with a smile. "It's done. That's fast." Lulu was amazed. Clearly, Nicole had a way to get things done quickly. After outputting the information she had found, Nicole logged out of NarrativeNook's system and erased all traces of her activities. "You can take it from here," Nicole said, handing the information to Lulu. Grinning triumphantly, Lulu raised her chin. "Get ready to enjoy the show." "Sure." Nicole smiled. "I'll get going now," Lulu said, waving the documents in her hand and winking at Nicole. "Go ahead." Nicole waved her off, chuckling. Watching Lulu leave the office, Nicole could not help but smile wryly. "Oh, Lulu." After Lulu left the office, she immediately arranged for someone to report the evidence of tax evasion and fraud by NarrativeNook to the relevant authorities. Looking at her handiwork, Lulu snorted and said to herself, "Everett, this time you'll know what it's like to be hoisted by your own petard." One could only imagine the expression on Everett's face when he found out. Just thinking about it was satisfying. In the afternoon, the sunlight was scorching. After having lunch, everyone was feeling rather drowsy. The peaceful afternoon in San Joto suddenly turned into a frenzy due to a few messages. NarrativeNook under Riddle Corporation faced a joint declaration from several companies stating that they would no longer cooperate. Additionally, they were accused of maliciously defaming their competitors, with the most explosive revelation being the evidence of NarrativeNook's own tax evasion. In no time, San Joto was abuzz with discussions and debates. There were also hidden currents at play. "Nicole, Everett must be in a panic this time," Lulu said with a gleeful expression, clearly reveling in the chaos. "At least we get to take a break for a few days now." Nicole shrugged. Everett was likely busy dealing with the issues at NarrativeNook and would not have time to continue targeting Dill Corp. "He'd be fuming if he ever finds out we exposed him," Lulu said with a wicked grin. "Ha! Let's see if he ever dares to find trouble with Dill Corp again." Nicole raised an eyebrow and playfully said, "He'll probably guess it, but he won't know how we did it." After all, at this point, with NarrativeNook being in trouble, the suspicion would naturally fall on her. It's best to keep him guessing and make him frustrated. Lulu chuckled. Nicole was amused as she responded, "So why don't you go watch this unfold?" "On it right now," Lulu said with a grin before leaving Nicole's office. She had come to update Nicole on the progress of the situation and needed to get back to work on the next steps. After Lulu left the office, Nicole glanced at the files on her desk and picked up one of them. She calmly began to read. Everett is probably quite busy at the moment. Meanwhile, at NarrativeNook, the sudden turn of events had left the company in turmoil. Employees seemed irritable, and the atmosphere in the entire office, especially in Damien and Everett's offices, was stifling. "Mr. Riddle, it seems like this was a deliberate attack against us," an assistant carefully said with a pale face. Everett glared fiercely at the assistant. "Do you think I can't see that? I was just speculating about who might be behind it." The assistant shuddered. "Humph, it's definitely Nicole." Everett snorted, his eyes filled with anger. "But there hasn't been any activity from their side," the assistant pointed out, puzzled. He knew that Dill Corp was the most suspicious culprit. In fact, they had been cautious about Nicole but had not detected anything unusual on her end. How did she pull this off? "Nicole always has a lot of tricks up her sleeve," Everett said through gritted teeth. Although he had no concrete evidence, he could not think of anyone else who would target them. "So, what do we do now?" the assistant asked in a hushed tone. Since they suspected Nicole, they could not just sit and wait. Everett was furious as he sighed in frustration. "Let's address the company's issues first." With both internal and external problems plaguing them, they could only deal with their internal problems first. They could address the external ones later. With a heavy heart, Everett stood up and left his office, heading toward Damien's office. "Are these the results you wanted to show me?" Damien's face turned red as he gritted his teeth. "It's Nicole's doing," Everett replied, looking frustrated. Damien furrowed his eyebrows. But they didn't detect any unusual activities on their end, no? But it's got to be her, Everett said with a dark expression. He knew Nicole was capable of doing that without leaving any traces behind. After a moment of silence, Damien nodded in agreement. Yes, it's unlikely to be anyone else. But Dad, let's not talk about that now. We should deal with the company's issues first, Everett sighed, feeling frustrated. That was the only thing he could do. What's your plan? Damien furrowed his brows. Indeed, they were facing a bigger problem they should definitely deal with first. I think. Before Everett could finish his sentence, the office door suddenly swung open. Several individuals in uniforms entered, followed by the secretary, who looked timid. She stammered, "Mr. Riddle." "You may leave now." Although Damien was unhappy, he did not have the energy to find fault in his secretary. Once the secretary left, Damien stood up and asked, "What can we do for you here at our company?" "You don't need to do anything, just cooperate with the investigation. We've received a report alleging tax evasion in your company." Damien felt his vision darken, but he clenched his teeth and said, "Sure, we'll do as you say." "Hey!" Everett called out. Very soon, his assistant came into the room. "Yes, Mr. Riddle?" "Help them with whatever they need." Everett passed the documents on to his assistant, as he still had to figure something out to get Nando Corp out of trouble. "Dad, I'm heading back to my office." Everett shot Damien a glance. "Go ahead. We'll deal with this." Damien nodded in understanding. Then, Everett turned to the officers and said, "My office is just next door. You're free to come over if you need anything." "Sure. For now, we have a few questions for the chairman of this company." "All right." Once Everett had left the room, the investigators began questioning Damien. On the other side of the office, Everett went back to his room and his face turned red in anger. However, he could not afford to vent his frustration at the moment. He clenched his teeth to calm himself down and tried to come up with a solution. "What should I do?" he wondered to himself. When the sun began to set, Lulu entered Nicole's office with an air of triumph. "Looks like Everett is in for a rough time." "He's not that weak," Nicole said calmly before lifting her gaze to Lulu and adding, "However, this is indeed going to be a challenge for him." Nicole stood up as she spoke. "Come on, it's time to go." "Sure." Lulu followed Nicole out of the office. Once they stepped outside, they only saw Jared's car. Nicole could not help but ask Lulu softly, "Is Spencer coming?" "Oh, he has a concert later, so he won't be coming today," Lulu said as her cheeks turned red. "I'm going to his concert later." "Oh, it looks like both of you are still in the honeymoon phase. How sweet." Nicole teased. "That's enough. I'm leaving now." Lulu felt shy after hearing what Nicole said. She shot Nicole a glare and hailed a cab. Nicole walked up to Jared's car after Lulu had left the place. After getting in, she leaned back against her seat and heaved a deep sigh. Tired. Jared glanced at Nicole with a hint of concern. He had heard about everything that had happened earlier today and suspected that she was the one behind them. "Just a little," Nicole shook her head. "I just have this feeling that Everett won't stay quiet. He might have other plans in store." Although Everett was caught in his share of roadblocks now, she was certain that he would not let up so easily. "I'll get Max to help you keep an eye on him." Jared's gaze darkened as he spoke. He knew that Everett would not just sit still and do nothing. "It's okay, I can handle it." Nicole smiled confidently. "I'm just not sure what he's done exactly." However, she was very sure that Everett was up to something, and because of this, she needed to keep her wits about her. After seeing how prepared Nicole was, Jared was naturally more at ease. "If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask." "Okay," Nicole nodded. Although she was quite certain that there would not be any danger to her person, she did not want Jared to worry about her. After a while, their car pulled up at the entrance of the kindergarten. Then, Nicole got out of the car, wanting to get Nolan and Lana from the entrance, only to find Lawrence waiting there. "Why are you here?" Nicole instinctively asked, surprised. "I came to see the kids," Lawrence replied with a smile. Didn't we agree on bringing the kids to the amusement park during the weekend? Nicole asked, feeling a tad bit puzzled. They had already discussed their weekend plans prior to this, and the agreement was that Lawrence would be seeing the kids just a few days later. But it was then that Lawrence flashed her a crestfallen look. I'd really love to go to the amusement park with them, but unfortunately something came up, and I'll have to leave San Giotto for a few days. So, I thought I'd visit the kids before I go. If you're busy with work, we can still go to the amusement park when you come back. The kids will understand. There and then, Nicole learned that he was going to leave San Giotto. Whatever it is, I promised to take them there. So, I'd still like to apologize to them in person. As they continued chatting, two tiny figures approached them. Mommy, Godpa. Nolan and Lana lifted their heads and greeted the two adults with a smile. Done with school, yeah? Lawrence said affectionately and patted Nolan's head. Godpa, we thought we were going to the amusement park this weekend. Why are you here to pick us up today? Nolan asked curiously. Gently, Lawrence explained, well, something happened at the last minute, and I'll have to leave San Giotto for a few days, so I won't be able to make it this weekend. I'm here to apologize. What? You're leaving? Nolan pouted. We can't go to the amusement park anymore then. If you want to go, you can ask Mommy to take you, or you can wait until I come back, Lawrence said apologetically. Of course, to show you my sincerity, I'm going to take you guys out for dinner tonight. But we've eaten already, Lana said in a sweet voice. I think we'll have Mommy bring us to the amusement park this weekend. You don't have to worry about us because Daddy will be there too. Lawrence lowered his gaze at Lana and flashed her a defeated smile. Okay then, you guys can go ahead first. We'll head to the amusement park after I come back. He knew what Lana's intention was from the get-go, but he just could not express the frustration he was feeling within. When they were on the island, Lana would always show a sense of aloofness around other people, including him, who was supposed to be her godfather. He would occasionally see her smile, but he had never seen Lana forming a close bond with anyone except Jared. Lana felt a sense of familiarity with Jared right after meeting him, which made Lawrence jealous. Perhaps it was simply the bond between father and daughter. There was no other explanation. Just as they said, they've already eaten in the kindergarten. Why don't we have a meal when you come back instead? Nicole smiled and politely suggested. Lawrence could only agree after hearing what Nicole had proposed. All right, wait for me to come back then. Then, Lawrence gently ruffled Nolan's hair and told him, you're becoming a young man now. Take care of your mommy and your little sister, okay? I will, Godpa. Don't worry. Nolan nodded earnestly. Although Lawrence was smiling, his eyes were downcast. He could feel that even Nolan was growing distant from him. Though Nolan still liked him, it was not the same as before. At least not anymore. Is it time to go now? Lawrence looked at Nicole, realizing it was time for them to part ways. Yeah, Nicole said, patting Nolan and Lana's heads. Say goodbye to Godpa. Bye-bye, Godpa. Nolan and Lana waved at him. In return, Lawrence smiled and said, goodbye. Nicole then led Nolan and Lana into the car after Lawrence had walked away. Daddy. Lana happily jumped into Jared's arms as soon as she had gotten into the car. Jared tenderly held her and placed her on the seat beside him. Then, he lowered his head to look at her and said, let's go home. Okay. Lana beamed, leaning on Jared's arm. We're going home. After Nicole and Nolan were seated, Jared turned to Max and ordered, let's go. Yes, Mr. Johnston, Max replied before driving off to the Riddle residence. Daddy, Godpa is leaving San Giotto, and he won't be going to the amusement park this weekend anymore. Will we still be going? Lana tilted her little head, her eyes filled with anticipation. A doting smile appeared on Jared's face as he replied, we'll be going there if you want. Yay! Lana cheered. Thank you, Daddy. She thought they had lost the opportunity to visit the amusement park, so she was delighted to hear that Jared would be taking them there instead. Jared shifted his gaze to Nicole, who discreetly shook her head, indicating that she did not know where Lawrence was going. She had asked Lawrence about it earlier, but the kids had shown up before he could answer her question. With that, Jared shot Max a glance. Then, he lowered his head to continue talking to Lana. When they arrived at their destination, Jared and Nicole got out of the car with their 2 children. Meanwhile, Max took his phone out and made a call. "Track Lawrence down." "Understood," the voice on the other end replied. "Good." Max hung up as a sinister glint flashed across his eyes. Jared could not figure out why Lawrence was leaving San Joto at this time. On the other hand, Honwick showed no signs pointing to the idea that he would be leaving too, which raised suspicions. Honwick had been utilizing a fake identity to conceal himself in San Joto, and no one knew what his true intention was. In the living room, the atmosphere became lively as soon as the entire family returned for dinner. Gloria directed her gaze at the sky outside and said, "Spencer won't be coming back, so let's just have dinner." "Oh right. He has a performance, and Lulu has followed him to the venue to watch him too," Nicole added. "Lulu went too, huh?" Gloria nodded and smiled. "Okay then." Then, Daniel said to everyone, "Let's eat now." The family got up and headed to the dining room. Meanwhile, at the concert, the melodies from the choir and the instrumentalists filled the venue, enchanting the audience. Just as everyone was immersed in the music, a sudden scream grabbed their attention. While the music did not stop, some of their focus shifted to where the sound had emanated. Lulu's face blanched as she stared at the person who had collapsed at her feet. She was so shocked that she did not even know how to react. What just happened? Why did she suddenly collapse here? What should we do now? "Quick, get an ambulance now," someone shouted. Lulu finally snapped out of her state of shock and dialed 911. Soon, the ambulance arrived, and the person was wheeled away in a stretcher and to the back. Looking at the now empty seat beside her, Lulu could not shake the feeling of uneasiness within her. So, she decided to leave early and wait for Spencer backstage. After the concert had ended, Spencer made his way to the backstage area. "What happened?" Spencer approached Lulu and gently held her hand. He had witnessed the commotion among the audience, but he did not know what happened to be exact. Still, Lulu was evidently perturbed by whatever it was. "Someone next to me suddenly passed out, and I was so scared that my mind went blank," Lulu briefly explained. Upon hearing this, Spencer patted Lulu's back gently and said, "I see. Everything is over now." "Okay," Lulu nodded. "Can we leave now?" "Sure," Spencer responded and led Lulu to the exit, where they bumped into Iseln, who was coming inside. Iseln looked at Lulu, then turned to Spencer with a smile. "Spencer, there's an after-party later. Shall we head there together?" "No, I won't be attending the celebration later," Spencer replied. He wanted to leave the place together with Lulu since everything that transpired had left her in a state of unease. Iseln's expression stiffened for a moment, but she continued to persuade Spencer anyway. "Everyone will be there. Are you sure you don't want to go?" She then glanced at Lulu and added somewhat reluctantly, "If you want to spend time with your girlfriend, she can come with us too." "No, we'll leave now," Spencer said, holding Lulu's delicate hand as they walked away. Iseln's face turned red as she eyed their receding figures, gritting her teeth in frustration. Does Lulu even understand music? Why did she even come to a concert? Well, I'm going to make her regret coming here tonight. Right after exiting the venue, Spencer and Lulu got into the car. "Let's grab something to eat first and then, I'll take you home so that you can get some sleep," Spencer said. He could not help but feel sorry for Lulu after he saw how pale she was. "Okay," Lulu replied softly. She was not frightened anymore, but for some reason, she still felt uneasy, as if an ominous cloud was hovering over her, giving her the feeling that something bad was about to happen. Spencer gently held Lulu's hand as he noticed how restless she was, and proceeded to soothe her in whatever way she could. The next day, the sun shone high and bright. That morning, Nicole arrived at the office as usual, and Lulu followed from behind with a bunch of documents in hand. "These are some of the collaboration proposals awaiting your approval," Lulu said. The second she had spoken, her phone rang. Seeing that it was a call from an unfamiliar number, Lulu cautiously answered, "Hello. Is this Lulu Barrera?" the caller asked. "Yes. this is Lulu Barrera speaking. And you are? Lulu furrowed her brows in confusion, wondering who was calling her. You injured my sister yesterday, and you didn't even bother to come to the hospital. How can you be so heartless? The caller accused, their tone brimming with rage. Lulu widened her eyes, puzzled. Are you sure you've got the right person? I knew you wouldn't admit it, but you're not going to get away with this. I've already reported it to the police. Just wait and see, the caller said and hung up. Hello? Lulu froze as a long, continuous beep emanated from the speaker. What's going on? Is everything okay? Nicole asked as she stared at a petrified Lulu. However, Lulu did not answer her. Then, Nicole furrowed her brows and raised her voice, Lulu. Lulu looked at Nicole, taking some time to snap out of her daze. Someone I don't know called me. What did that person say? Nicole asked. She knew it was a call, but she could not figure out what was wrong with it. After seeming to have recollected herself, Lulu's face turned pale as she clenched her teeth and said, He said I injured his sister and ran away. He even claimed he has reported it to the police. She had no idea who he was, who his sister was, and when she could have possibly hit someone. After all, she was not even driving. With a frown, Lulu continued in a trembling voice, could that person be mentally unstable? But how could a mentally unstable person know my phone number and name? Lulu wondered to herself. It was then that 3 knocks were heard on the door, and in response, Nicole lifted her gaze and said, Come in. Then, the secretary entered and said, Miss Riddle. There are people claiming to be the police outside. They wish to speak with Ms. Barrera about a reported incident. Nicole and Lulu exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of confusion and worry. That person on the phone was not just threatening Lulu, they had really gotten the police involved. Lulu just could not figure out who that person might be. Let them in, Nicole instructed the secretary. Of course, the secretary replied before ushering the 2 police officers into the room. Once inside, the officers asked, Are you Lulu Barrera? Yes, I am, Lulu responded. Somebody reported that you intentionally assaulted them, and now the victim is in critical condition. We need your cooperation for the investigation. One of the officers clarified, asking for Lulu's cooperation. In an attempt to defend herself, Lulu explained, Could there be a mistake? I don't even know how to drive, so how could I have hit someone? Besides, I don't even know the person who reported this to you. I didn't assault his sister, whoever he is. Then, the officer glanced at Lulu and asked, Weren't you at a concert yesterday? Yeah. Lulu blinked in confusion. What does being at a concert have anything to do with this? The person who fell over beside you has regained consciousness. However, she claimed that you were the one who hit her and caused her to collapse. We need you to come to the police station with us now, the officer continued while looking at Lulu. No, I didn't. Lulu's face became as white as a sheet. She fell on her own, and I had no idea what was happening at the time. We'll talk about this in detail when we're in the police station, the officer said, about to take Lulu away when she resisted again. Hey, listen to me. I really have no idea what was going on. I didn't. Lulu tried her best to explain herself, but the officers just ignored her. At that point, she was so afraid that she was on the verge of tears. Wait a minute, Nicole's voice suddenly blared out. Lulu looked at Nicole with mixed emotions. She knew that it was too late to say anything now. All she could do now was find a way to prove her innocence, though she did not know how. She did not even know what had happened. Lulu bit her lip and forced herself to calm down. Then, she turned to Nicole and said, Nicole, I must follow them back to the police station. My work. We can cooperate for your investigation, but she's not leaving with you, Nicole interrupted, looking at the officers calmly. As for the issue concerning the injured party, please inform them to keep all invoices of the medical expenses incurred from the injury. If they are indeed a result of Lulu's actions, we are willing to compensate them for it. How can we conduct the investigation if she doesn't come with us? The officer warned in a stern voice. Please do not obstruct our work. She doesn't know anything, and there's nothing she can cooperate with you on. You might as well go back and look into the other evidence you have. As for her, I will arrange for someone to bail her out. I won't put you in a difficult position or obstruct your work, Nicole said, and gave the head of the legal department a call. Hello, Ms. Riddle. The department head came over and asked, "Is there anything that I can help you with?" "There's something you need to take care of," Nicole said in a stern voice. "Lulu has no idea what happened, and from what Lulu saw, that person fell over on her own. Please handle this accordingly." "I got it." The head of the legal department nodded and turned to the two police officers. "Gentlemen, if you have any questions or need assistance, you can speak to me directly." The officers furrowed their brows and hesitated for a moment. Then, they glared at Lulu and warned, "Do not leave Sanjoto. We may require your cooperation at any time." "Don't worry, I won't. I'd like to prove my innocence too," Lulu immediately agreed. After that, the officers exited the room with the head of the legal department. "Thank you so much, Nicole. I was terrified just now." Lulu looked at Nicole with teary eyes as if she was going to burst into tears at any given time. She might very well have been taken away by the police by now had Nicole not intervened. She did not have the slightest idea as to what had happened, or what she could say in her own defense. "Don't worry. Everything will be fine," Nicole reassured Lulu. Then her gaze darkened as she asked, "Take a moment to think carefully about what had happened at that time." "I was just listening to the music when someone next to me suddenly fell to the ground. I was shocked too. Then, I heard someone shouting for an ambulance, so I immediately called one, and after some time, they took her away. After that, I went backstage looking for Spencer," Lulu explained. In fact, nothing seemed unusual apart from the fact that the member of the audience beside her had collapsed for no reason. After thinking for a moment, Nicole furrowed her brows and asked, "You helped her. Why should she want to frame you?" "For money." Lulu guessed, her face pale and fearful. "Is it possible that she wishes to extort money from me?" She could not think of any other reason, as she could not figure out why the individual who had collapsed would frame someone who had helped her. A glint of suspicion flashed across Nicole's eyes. While Lulu could be right, there might be other possibilities to be considered as well. "I will have someone to look into this," Nicole said. She had to clear things up, and on top of that, she could never allow anyone to accuse Lulu falsely like that. "Thank you, Nicole." Lulu sniffled. With Nicole by her side, she did not feel as afraid or as helpless anymore. "You can go home and rest if you're still feeling uneasy. Take a break," Nicole suggested as she observed Lulu's face, which was still colorless. Lulu shook her head. "It's okay. I'd rather work." Being alone at home would not make her feel any better, and she did not want this issue to affect her work either. "Okay then," Nicole nodded, respecting Lulu's decision. After Lulu had walked out, Nicole leaned back against her chair and sighed as her expression darkened. Spencer's wedding was getting closer, and this matter had to be resolved quickly before it could affect the wedding, and as far as she was concerned, it was something she could not afford to allow. If the wedding could not take place as scheduled due to unforeseen circumstances such as this, it would disappoint a great deal of people. Therefore, she would do anything in her power to stop that from happening. She then got busy, and just like that, the workday came to an end. When it was time to return home, Nicole and Lulu left the office together. Outside of the company building, Nicole saw Spencer coming over to pick Lulu up, so she walked over to him. "What happened?" Spencer could not help but feel concerned after he noted the strange looks on their faces. Nicole proceeded to explain the situation to Spencer before informing him, "She's fine now and I've gotten someone to look into it, but you should still spend more time with her."
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.